Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Wednesday edition of the Cassandra Terry Morning Show. I am so glad to be back and to have you with me. We are going to get this day started, and we are going to get it started with intentionality. We know that what we do with intentionality, we do better, we do more efficiently, we do more effectively, and we have the opportunity to enjoy the journey so much more. So we are going to begin today and prayerfully every day with intention. Our topic for today on this Wake Up Wednesday is to energize your day with intentional goal setting. Energize your day with intentional goal setting. That means that you are not just going through the motions, reacting to whatever life throws you, but that you, before you even began, before that day even gets started, you spend some time with you thinking about what you intend to accomplish, how you would like to see this day go, what's important for you, getting those priorities set. When you make those decisions on the front end, that informs the remainder of your day, your decision making, the choices that you make, the things that you say yes to, the things that you leave alone. Those no's are powerful too. And it's all a part of being intentional. When we are intentional, all of our resources, our thoughts, our energy, all of our resources, our focus, everything is going into creating what it is that we intend to create. Can you imagine being on a journey and having no destination? Just wandering through life, meandering. You can see some nice things along the way, but how will you ever know when you've gotten where you intended to go? If you haven't set that destination, that meandering, you can be so busy doing, but are you being productive? Are you doing the things that are going to get you where it is that you need to go? Are you busy or are you productive? When we're busy, we're doing stuff, lots of stuff, we're getting things done, we're always in from one activity to the next. But when we're productive, we're doing the right activities at the right time to achieve the goals that we have for ourselves. There's focus there, there's intentionality. We are on a path and we're doing the things that we need to do to ensure that we get where it is that we would like to go. So that's what intentionality does for you. So think about when you take that and you apply it to your goal setting, right? You've got that clarity. You know exactly what it is that you want to accomplish, and you're creating a plan. You have goals for yourself. You're creating a plan that's going to take you from where you are to where it is that you would like to be. So your goals are intentional. The tasks that you do each day are prioritized and intentional, and step by step, choice by choice, you're moving towards the life that you are designing. You are not simply reacting to the external things that are going on in your life, right? We don't want to be reactionary. We want to be responsive. When we react, it's quick. There's very little thought in it. It's typically driven by our emotions, and you often don't show up in the way that you would like to. But when you're responsive, you've given yourself the time, the space, the grace to process what's going on around you, make a decision as to how you want to respond, and then act on that decision. Much more control, much more intentionality, much more centered and in control of your body and your reactions to the things that are going on externally. When we can get to that place of maturity where more often than not we're responsive versus being reactive, we've elevated to another level of emotional intelligence, right? We're not driven by our emotions, we're informed by our emotions. Our emotions are not bad. They are like the signal lights in our life. Those signal lights, when you're in traffic, it tells you when it's okay to go. It tells you when you need to stop. It tells you when you need to be cautious. Proceed with caution. Your emotions are the same way, and we should give them that level of respect. They're there for a reason. They're grabbing our attention. They're telling us that there's something that's off, something that our bodies, our spirit is not reacting well to. So we pay attention to that. We learn and we grow when we pay attention to those emotions. We are very, very stagnant when are often pushed backwards when we're controlled by those emotions. So take a look at them. What are they telling you? Why am I feeling that uneasiness? What is it that I need to pay attention to? Is there something in my environment that needs to change? Has a boundary been crossed? Right? You want to pay attention and then be intentional about how you respond to whatever it is that's going on. And we want to have those assessments where we really go in and we talk to ourselves. Sometimes my reactions are bigger than what has just happened, right? When we see those times and we're good and triggered, take some time to yourself to understand why. Why did this hit me so hard? Why did I have such a big response to this? Oftentimes that's going to point to a place where there's some healing that needs to be done. Maybe you're responding to something that happened in the past that feels very similar to what just transpired. So the you had this big reaction to something that was fairly small in comparison. Don't get upset with yourself. Dig in, have the conversation, have those internal moments to be intentional about getting to know you better and learning what's going on inside of you, what's working for you, what's not. The more intimately you are aware of yourself and how you work, the better job you can do in getting the clarity that you need about where it is and what it is you really want to accomplish. And then you can go about setting with intention those goals to get you there. I see a few of you have joined, so let me say hello to my VA, Michael. Michael, welcome, welcome, welcome. And it's always good to see you. Conchita says, wonderful Wednesday to everyone on another amazing day. Absolutely. Kelly says, good morning. Conchita says, living life without intention is much like a hamster on a wheel, constant movement and the same spot, going nowhere fast. Absolutely perfect analogy. You are just running, 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 moving, moving, moving. But are you accomplishing the things that you have set out for yourself? That's where intention comes on in. When you have that clarity, when you know what it is that you're going after, the decisions simply have to align with that, right? If your goal is to save a certain amount of money by the end of the year, you can't run to every sale, right? If your goal is to lose a certain amount of weight, you have to be cautious and intentional about the things you eat and the things that you don't eat and how much sleep you're getting, right? Whatever it is, if you're going for that job, how are you showing up? You're ready for that promotion. You know it's time. It's your time. Why haven't they promoted me? Go inside first and check in with you. How am I showing up? Do I look good? Am I full of energy? Am I completing my assignments on time? Right? Am I showing them that I can do what it takes to move to the next level? We spend so much time focused on the external, things that are completely outside of our control, that we forget to make time for the things that are within our control. How are you showing up? What decisions are you making? What are you spending your time doing? What are your inputs? What are you letting in? What are you watching? What are you listening to? Who are you listening to? Are those things that are going to move you towards the intentions that you've set for your life? Or are they adding weight, right, to the journey? Every time I'm with some people, I feel weight, right? There's a negativity. There's always a problem. And so I know before I even get there, I have to armor myself. I have to talk myself up. I have to put on my shield so that I don't let that junk sink in. I am responsible for protecting me. And part of that protection is gaining the clarity and understanding about how you show up and what you're allowing into your space. Yesterday, we talked about unlearning things, right? That is just as important to unlearn some of the things that we've been taught along the way that don't serve us well. In that unlearning, you make space to bring in the things, the skills, the mindset, the habits that are going to move you in the direction of your goals. So unlearning is just as important as learning. But what it all does is introduces and continues to reintroduce you to you. You are not the same person you were a month ago. You're learning, you're changing, you're evolving, You're going through the transformation that the different transitions in your life create. And so you have to keep checking in and reintroducing yourself to you. How am I thinking differently? Well, how have my priorities changed? I talk about my vision board. I had to do another one because there were some things on my vision board when I created that. There were some material things on there that were exciting to me, but they also spoke to some internal unhealthiness in my emotions. The physical things, right? The car, the this and the that, those things were said too much to me at one point in time. I needed to show the world that I had arrived. I needed to show the world that I had a certain measure of success. And now I ask myself, why? Right? It's one thing for me to create the debt of a car because I need a car or because I've worked hard and I want to reward myself. That's some internal stuff. But when I need to show up a certain way so that people know that I've accomplished, why? Why? Showing up as you should be good enough. That if you need to show up a certain way, if you have to look a certain way, if you have to sound a certain way, if all of those things are required, you're probably showing up in the wrong spaces. I want to show up where people are happy just to see me, where people want to spend time just with me, where we want to be a part of each other's space and grow and learn and evolve together, right? I don't want to have to put on an act. I don't want to have to put on some facade to prove to you that I'm anything, right? Be intentional, be aware of what it is and how it is that you're processing. Whenever you're getting ready to make a big purchase, whenever you're getting ready to make a big decision, spend a little bit of time thinking about what's underneath it. And if it's something that you want to do for you, if it's something that you really need, it's the time to do it and you have the resources to do it, go for it with all that you have. But if you're still trying to prove your value, your worth through things and all of that, it's time to take a step back and find out where that's coming from. Where are you lacking in the love of self that is telling you that you need to do all those things? Y'all, I was so poor that I was just po. I couldn't even afford the rest of the letters. I mean, we grew up very humbly. So that informs a lot of how I saw myself and how I valued myself. Some of the things like, man, I don't like hand-me-downs. I don't like, I don't want people to pay for things for me because I'm able to do it for myself. There were a lot of bad messaging and negative things that I picked up along the way. And it was an expensive lesson. I spent more money on stuff when I didn't have money than I would ever do today. There's a lot of things that I could go out and buy, but I don't because I'd much rather have the security. I love knowing that I can, but I also love having the security. So I know myself better. And if I'm in a potato sack or if I'm in one of the most expensive gowns in the world, I'm still me. The value of who I am absolutely does not change by my external trappings. And knowing that and actually believing that has changed my life. But it took some intentional work. I had to get really clear about myself and who I was and why I did the things that I did, why I thought the way that I thought, and I had to do some work to undo those things. It was very intentional, very focused, difficult work at times because I absolutely did not value the person, right? How I show up in the world, who I am, the impact I have on those around me. That's way more important to me now than the car I drive. So that big old pretty fancy car that's on my vision board, I could go out and get it today if I want to, but I don't want to. There's way more important things in my life. I love that at any point in time, at the drop of a hat, if I want to do something with those grandkids or for my kids, I can. And I don't have to be concerned about finances because I haven't stretched myself so far that I'm living paycheck to paycheck. It's one thing to be building or to have things happen. We have illnesses. People have big things that happen in life that will put you in that situation, and you have to grind it and work your way out of it. And that's okay. There's no shame in that. Wherever you are in life, there's no shame in it. What I'm asking you to do is assess it, right? And know where it is that you really are, know where it is that you would like to be, and do the work to move from point A to point B. Don't just keep doing what it is that you've always done. If you do, expect the same results. If you want something different, you have to be really, really intentional about disrupting those patterns and making a different choice. I watch it all day, every day. I operate as a lot of people's safety net. Man, if I make bad decisions, if I get in a bind, then I'm gonna call San. I know she'll bail me out. That doesn't even, I mean, it's great to be able to do that, but only to a certain extent, right? After a certain point in time, people need to make good decisions for themselves. It's one thing when the tragedies show up, when life really lives and you need somebody to give you a hand. I don't mind that at all. But when you consistently make bad decisions with what you have because you feel like there's somebody else that you can count on that's going to bail you out, I don't even understand that mentality. I've been grown for a whole bunch of years, and it's been a long time where since I believed that my problems belonged to somebody else. Somebody else was responsible for solutioning me through the mistakes that I've made. No, no, be intentional, be honest, have good conversations with you, assess where it is that you are, and then make good decisions accordingly. And then when life does life and you need that helping hand, you can have those conversations with integrity. You can have those conversations from a point of high character because you've done everything that you could do, and now you just need a little bit of help. It happens to the best of us. There's no shame in that. But if you're just going through life willy nilly with your resources and not making good decisions, and then you expect somebody else, I don't care who they are, and you expect them to solve it because you keep making bad decisions and you're like that hamster on the wheel that Conchita was talking about, that's a problem. And the best thing you can do when you're the safety valve in that situation is to cut off the valve, because that person needs to become responsible for themselves so that they can make good decisions. And it's a hard thing to do. That's one of those no's that I talk about that make me so uneasy, right? But it's important. We have to be intentional, and intentionality requires honesty and it requires clarity. You have to really know where your starting point is. I always talk about the baseline. If I'm going to run a marathon, I need to get out there and see how long I can run right now so I know where I'm starting. And then I build on top of that. It takes intentional action. It takes honest assessment. It takes going through the motions and building that plan and implementing that plan to get you there. So that's where that goal setting comes in. I want to share a quote with you guys. And it is from, let's see, a goal without a plan is just a wish. Antoine de Saint, you've dot, dot, dot. I don't even know how to say his name, and that's okay. But Antoine said, a goal without a plan is just a wish. And we are not talking about wish setting, right? We're talking about goal setting. We're talking about getting clear about what it is that we want to accomplish, and then getting in a space where you can really focus and you can work from the end game backwards. What is it that I really want to accomplish? Right? I want to take a trip around the world. I really do. I want to take a trip around the world. I want to be in a position to where I don't work for a year and I go and I spend deliberate time in different places around the world that I want to see. And I want to move all the way around the globe and see all the beauty that it has to offer. And because my kids are still at, well, they're still in their young adulthood, so they're working and raising their families. I want there to be places along the way where I stop for a little bit and they can fly in and bring the grandbabies and they can enjoy that part of the world with me. They go back home, go to work, do the stuff I've already done, and me and Tim continue our travels around the world. And they join us along the way where they can. But a full year of just traveling and exploring and seeing the world. It's a wish right now. That's a real wish. It's not a goal because I haven't started to plan it out. I haven't started to implement anything that's going to put me there, right? We haven't mapped out where we want to go. If that was really a goal, I would already start highlighting the places that I want on along the way. Maybe talking to a travel agent about how we can make this happen, right? It's a long-term goal, but it's a long-term wish right now. There are lots of goals that I have in my life. Writing my book was a goal. So there were things that I had to do in real time on a regular basis to make that happen. I'm building an academy. That's a goal. So building up the content, start building up the audience now, planning out when that's going to be. Those things are in motion, right? That's a goal. That's a goal. And there are steps that you take along the way until you get to that point of creating the plan. It's just a wish. I have a wish and I have a goal. And the difference between the two is the plan. So think about the things that you really want to accomplish in your life and ask yourself, am I wishing, dreaming, hoping for it? Or am I actually building a plan to get there? If you're building a plan to get there, now you've got a goal, right? Yeah, and then you start implementing. And now you're on your way. You're progressing towards those things. It's a pretty simple difference. And so what we're talking about all this week is goal setting. So Transformation Tuesday was from the perspective of goal setting. Today, Wake Up Wednesday, intentionality from the perspective of goal setting. All week long, everything that we talk about will be from that perspective. Goal setting, goal setting, goal setting. And we're building. And for those of you that are on the journey with us, about 4 weeks ago, we talked about transitions, right? We are always going through transitions. It was graduation season, so people were preparing for their kids to walk across the stage. That was a transition. They walk across that stage and into adulthood. Many of them are going off to college and no longer in your house every day. That's a transition. People's jobs are changing or they're losing them and having to restart careers. Maybe you're building a business. Those are all transitions. So we started there. And after you go through a transition, then you want to master where it is that you are in this new space that you transition to. So that the following week, we talked about mastery. Last week, we talked about visualization. You have to really get clear about what it is that you want. And now that we've done the visualization, we even had a vision board party, and some people, created those physical boards and took that visualization to the 3D world and actually created something that they can see every day. Now that we visualized it, it's goal setting time. It's breaking that vision down into actionable steps that are going to take you from where you are to where it is that you would like to be. So I just wanted to remind you guys of that. We are on a journey. It's not enough just to show up and to listen. I encourage you every day to grab just one thing, right? We talk sometimes for an hour. So I don't expect everything to resonate. I don't think I'm such a guru that every word I say you're going to write down and that's going to change your life. But I do encourage you to, what's that one thing they go, ouch. She must have, if she felt like she was stepping on my toes. Oh, she must be peeping in my window. Find that thing, because that's the thing that's really going to be most impactful for you. and you take that action, you make that change in your mindset, whatever it is, and you start to implement that one thing different. When you do that, you've disrupted your pattern. You're no longer operating out of the habitual way that you've been doing it up to this point. You've broken the pattern, and when you disrupt a pattern, you create the opportunity for different results. Same action, same results. Break the pattern, and you open up the possibility to all sorts of different results. And that's why we talk about the things that we talk about all the time. Not just for me to, be a talking head or to see how many people are going to show up and interact today. That stuff is all great. But where it really is impactful for me is when I hear those stories back from you guys. Hey, I heard this and it really resonated. It was just what I needed to hear today. So now I'm able to go off and tackle whatever. That's what it's about. I appreciate the support. I appreciate you guys showing up and engaging. It absolutely warms my heart. But what it's really all about is you hearing something, acting on something that will disrupt the patterns in your life and free you to new possibilities. What can I do that I've dreamed of that I didn't believe before that was possible? If that thing has been staying with you, if you've had a dream, right? My dream started as a little person. I used to see it just as a flash, and I had no idea what I was looking at, but I used to see myself with a microphone. You guys have heard me say that before. I didn't know how that was ever going to come about, but it has showed up in my life in different ways over the years. And I believe because that was something, that talking head that I call myself is a part of my destiny. It's a part of what was placed inside of me prior to me taking that first breath. It's a part of my purpose why I was born. And we all have that. And when you're aware of what it is and you start to lean into it, you can be just like that eagle over my head. You soar. You soar when you're walking in your purpose. It's not heavy. It's not frustrating. It's like, oh no, I got to do this again. I get excited when the alarm goes off, even when I'm tired, even when I don't feel well, whatever the case may be. I still want to be here. I want to do this because it's aligned with my purpose. When you find that for yourself and you're intentional about leaning into that, your life changes. It opens up in a magical way. And I promise you, your gifts will make room for you. Rooms will appear that you didn't know. Possibilities that you had no idea were out there will show up for you because you are walking in your purpose, and those gifts are going to make room for you. They're a part of why you were created in the first place. All right, let me see. I know I've been talking for a while and quite a few people have come in. So let me say hello. I am seeing a bunch of new names. I am so excited. Sonia, good morning, sis. It's always good to see you. Conchita says, I have learned that being more in tune with my emotions allows for more mastery of my energy. Absolutely. Absolutely. My emotions, the ones that would be classified as positive, negative, or anywhere in between, they're there for a reason. Just see them as your signal light. And when they pop up, ask what is it telling me? Is it telling me to go? Is it telling me to stop? Is it telling me to proceed with caution? There's something that I need to pay attention to because it allows me to master and better understand me. Jamia, good morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Michael says, thank you and good to see you too, Mr. My Able Coach. And hi, Mr. Content. Kelly says, yes, ma'am. I was just telling that to myself. Yes, that was for that. Yes, ma'am. Like that, like what he to me. I missed that one, Kelly. I'm sorry. Valerie, welcome, welcome, welcome. Virtual hug. Good to see you. Dr. Royan Patrick Hendricks. Dr. Rowe, welcome, welcome, welcome. It is so good to see you here. I think this is the first time, and I am ecstatic to have you join us. Conchita says the SOAR assessment is an excellent starting point to initiate one's personal goal setting process. So what she's talking about there is I created an assessment a few months back that aligns with my SOAR framework. I'll explain SOAR really quickly since I know there's some new folks here. So I wrote a book that was published on March the 25th, and it's SOAR Beyond Limits, Unleashing the Power Within. And SOAR is an acronym for strengths, identifying your strengths, overcoming limits, achieving goals, and resilience, building a resilient mindset. And the book outlines that framework. It has exercises and tools and information that you can use to master each of those phases of the SOAR journey. I created an assessment to go along with that because we do challenges and classes. And like I said, I'm working on a SOAR Academy, but the beginning is that baseline that I always reference. Where are you on that journey? So you take the SOAR assessment, it's just a few questions. And then at the end, you get feedback that tells you, are you still early in the journey and should be working more on understanding your strengths? Maybe you've identified those strengths and you're in a place to where you still have some self-doubt or some sort of limiting beliefs. So you need to work on overcoming those. If you have both of those behind you, you're right where we're talking about this week. And you're in that place where it's time to start achieving your goals and building the plans to accomplish those goals. Or maybe you have all of those things behind you and you're just working on your resilience. You are learning to bounce back quickly, to identify those emotions, to not let the things that pop up in life throw you off course. You're continuing to move forward. And so where you are on that spectrum is what will help us together figure out where you need to start, right? There's tools and training and techniques that go along with each piece of SOAR. And we want to start from where you really are. And so taking that assessment, which you can do at iwanttosoar.com, will give you that feedback. And then we'll get together for a half an hour or so and talk through the feedback and the things that would help you in moving forward with your journey, your personal growth and development journey. So that's what the SOAR assessment is all about. iwanttosoar.com. You can take the assessment for free. We'll have some time to discuss your results and then figure out where is the right path for you to go after that. Angela Kane, welcome, welcome, welcome. I see you there. Dr. Rose said, this is so true. This is good stuff, sis. Thank you so much. So glad that you are here and that the things that we're talking about are resonating. Kelly, I see you continuing to invite others in. So as always, I appreciate that. So thank you very much. Denise has joined us. There's quite a few folks. God's Divine Diva. Yes, no direction. Crystal, I see you there. My nephew, Caleb. And Caleb says facts, and he's sending love. And be you with Brenda Lease. So thank you guys for joining us there on IG as well. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And Brian, I think I've said... I've been talking long enough. Oh, Kayla, I see you out there. Dawn, you are with us as well. And my Aunt Karen, love you, lady. I'm glad to see that you're back. So we've got a full house coming in from multiple platforms that have joined us today, and so many new faces. So you guys are doing the work. You are being ambassadors of the show and sharing the word so that we can be as impactful as possible and keep spreading our wings and soaring and helping folks get their day off to a good start with the right mindset so that you're able to walk forward in your power and respond, not react, to whatever the day brings. That's what it's all about. So Brian, with that, I'm going to kick it over to you.
Hey, Grand President. Before I get anything, I see this here. I know sometimes
hold on. Let me ask you guys, I have really bad feedback for Brian. Or Denise, what about you? Are you able to hear him okay?
My connection is bad as well. Plus, I'm not hearing him as well either.
Okay. I don't know,
How
you
about
guys in the audience, are y'all able to hear Brian? I'm just getting a bunch of reverb. Let's see. Yeah, there we you got to everybody's saying you're scrambled, Brian. I don't know if it'll work for you to go out and come back in, but there we can't even. There's no. It doesn't even sound like words.
really? Still no?
Okay, that's it. You're crystal clear now.
Oh, check that out. Funny how that worked out. Hey, before I say anything, I just heard Denise say that her connection is spotty also. Uh,
Hmm.
I'm gonna yield and I'm gonna let Denise jump on, and I'll say what I gotta say.
All right, Denise, since you're here, let's see if we're able to hear you while you're connected. Brian, I don't think she's in a place where she can unmute.
Maybe not.
Were you talking to me?
Yes, yes. Brian was just saying since
So
you're
on my
connected now, we could give it to you for a few minutes.
okay, I'm not hearing you guys clearly, but if you're hearing me clearly, okay.
Yes,
So
yes.
um Grand Rising, good morning, happy Wake Up Wednesday. I just quick short share. I was really thinking about something you said over the last couple of days, Cassandra. It was like last week. And if you remember it exactly, I would love it if you would share it again. But it was something about being in an environment where you are not really allowed to be yourself based on whether it's the other people who are there or whether it was family members. And you said, I cannot thrive at my full capacity in this environment, so I choose to not be in this environment. Do you recall that?
I do. I do.
Anyway, I was that it really blessed me, and it was something that I have been looking for in our previous shows over the last couple of days. So I haven't found it yet, but I'm going to. It blessed me, and I hear your voice in my head in situations where I can't control the environment or others, but I can do my best to control myself. And right as I came in today, you were talking about that, and I was like, "Wow, Lord! Like you're so connected to what's going on with me that all I can do is control myself. All I can do is be Denise and be the best version of myself, so that when I look in the mirror at night and when I wake up every morning, I can feel proud of the fact that I didn't react, the fact that I didn't fall back. Like it'd be so natural sometimes to default back into a previous version where you've really struggled in that area to grow. And I have really worked hard not to be reactive. I've worked very, very hard to be emotionally intelligent and very aware of myself. I can't control anybody else. So I'm asking for prayers and positive energy to continue on that journey, because I'm in an environment now where that is being challenged, and I am doing my best to stay firm in the version of Denise that I want to be. Thank you guys. That's it for this morning.
You are very welcome, and those prayers will be coming. And what's beautiful about that is the awareness, guys. What we are aware of, we can somewhat control. She can control her response. She can talk to herself when those things come up that are triggering, or she finds herself in that environment where it's hard for her to thrive. She can still speak life over herself. I am still Denise Anna Lee, right? And Denise Anna Lee, dot, dot, dot. You speak those affirmations, you speak that power over to yourself and not give in to whatever that environment is creating. You don't want to, we talk about it a lot. We are not energy matchers. We are not matching the energy of those around us. We set the energy. If you are the light, right? Don't dim your light and give over to the darkness. Your light is there for a reason. There are some people that just can't take me. You too positive all the time. You always got something good to say. Sometimes life just sucks, and there you are trying to find the positive in it, and that gets on people's nerves sometimes when your energy and you're not operating on the same energy level, sometimes you kind of repel each other. And that kind of stuff used to bother me. It used to really bother me. Sometimes I think somebody asked me early on as a mom, um, how I felt about it. And I was a young mom. By the time I was 23, I had both my girls. And so you can imagine how prepared emotionally and mentally I was. I was more prepared than I thought, though. That experience completely changed my life. Instead of me being Cassandra, I became Sierra and Kaylin's mom. And that was the most important thing to me, was being a good mom to them. And so things that I used to do, places I used to go, like the old songs, I didn't do those things anymore because I was focused on raising children at that early part, at that young in my life. And I remember somebody coming up to me asking, it was a peer asking me what it was like and what I thought. And I said, it's the best job I've ever had. It's the most important thing I'll ever do. And even in my at that young stage of my life, that's how I felt about it. And I remember her responding, "Yeah, right, Cassandra." And I could just see her thinking, "There you go, dipping everything in sugar, trying to make it all sweet. You young, you have to pause your college career. You got these babies, and you're trying to figure that out. You can't go to the parties we go to. There's so many things that we used to do that you can't do anymore. But there you go, trying to make me feel like it's all good." It was all good. All of those things that she may have been thinking were true. I didn't go to the parties anymore. I couldn't. I had two babies at home and I didn't have family nearby, right? So life was really, really different than what I was accustomed to. But it different doesn't always mean bad. Sorry, I've accidentally turned on my foot massager. So I don't know if you guys are getting feedback noise. I'm trying to cut it off. But I just will never forget that. She looked at me like, "Yeah, right." I was sincere, but it wasn't the answer that she expected. So she couldn't receive it. She could only see, if I was in that position, that this would be horrible. And that's not how I felt. I just didn't. But our energies did not align, and she could not accept my answer. She saw me as less than being honest in that moment. And there was nothing I could say or do that was going to change what she was thinking. So I didn't try. I just smiled, laughed it off, and went on about doing what it was I had to do. Because the one thing I know is I can't control how other people react to me, right? I can control how I show up. I can be sincere. I can be honest. I can be who I am. And that's all I can be. And how the other people react to that, it really is none of my business. It's not. And Denise, I think if you look back at the show, I don't remember exactly what I said that day. That's one of the problems with talking as much as I do. But I think I shared that day. I think I shared the graphic of the wheel. Remember, you had me to send that to you in a DM, the wheel that shows what's within our control versus what's outside of our control. That conversation may have been on that day, I think. All right, Brian. Denise and I have had our time. Feel free to unmute. I'd love to hear what you'd like to share. Are you there, Brian? All right, Brian may be having some issues as well. So I am going to move on to the actionable steps. So give me just a moment to bring those up. So we like to end every show with some takeaways for you guys, things that you can actually implement that will kind of bring home what the conversation that we've had, and create something that you can actually action upon and use to break those patterns. I see you just unmuted, Brian. Are you able to speak now? Oh, I see two of him. Hold on just a second, guys. How about now, Brian? There's two of you and neither one of you have anything to say? Is that what's going on? Can you hear us, Brian? Oh, All right. Well, I'm going to follow my first mind and I'm going to move into. Oh, I think I heard you.
Yeah, okay, all right. I said you're
All
funny.
right.
You're funny. It's just one of those. I'm over here singing that song. I forgot who sung it. Just one of those days. You remember that song?
Mm-hmm.
Those days.
I do
Sometimes you
remember
might.
that song.
So I'm really picking up what you and Denise were putting down just about being you. I think that's awesome. The other day I got Bree some I got her some squishmallows. You know what squishmallows are? I'm sure you do.
Mm-mm.
Squishmallows are like these big fluffy creatures. They come in all shapes and sizes. I think they start off at like 4 inches up to 22 inches. But
Mm-hmm.
they're really soft. She loves them. She said, Dad, I want to fill the whole house with them. I just want to jump inside. And listen, quick money tip. Squishmallows, the brand is owned by Berkshire Hathaway. Who knew, right? Anyway,
Mm-mm.
I bought her these Squishmallows. And when I bought her the Squishmallows, the first thing she wanted to do was rip the box open and paint the box. I didn't do anything. I just went along with the gag, right? So then when
Mm-hmm.
she split it into like 4 or 5 different pieces and made 4 or 5 different ones. She said, Dad, you gonna frame it like you do all my stuff? Absolutely. She said, well, come on in, take a look at what I did. So, naturally, I started reading the boards. And one of the things on the board was uh, enjoy your life, be you, have fun. This is from a
Good
6 year old.
advice. Good
Yeah.
advice.
And I'm saying it's all over the board. And guess where she got the idea to do that from? Did this. I put the vision board that we did directly over her board. So she's got her own whiteboard and it's magnetic and she does all her stuff on. And I put that board right on top of her board. Well, now that she's the height, because I put that up when she was like 3, and she's
Mm-hmm.
almost 7 now. Height that she is now, she's almost at the top of that board, right? To where she can touch it and reach it. And so seeing that board on top of there is not, it's not like she has this, it's just a stretch, right? She comes in every day, she looks at it, and she made her own. And she put
Mm-hmm.
up those similar items that I put up there, which is really reflective of what you were saying earlier about it being less about the material side and more about the spiritual side. My 6 year old put this up. And the reason I'm saying all of that is to say that when you set a goal in mind, when you make that your thing and it's bigger than you, something comes along and it takes over that thought, right?
Mm-hmm.
It is able to transmute it and turn it into that thing that you didn't even realize it was gonna become. Like forget about setting a goal. Like that's cool. But when you turn it up and you turn it over, forget about it. It turns into something you couldn't even imagine.
Right. Right.
Down, make it real. Make it so that it's real for you. Be realistic about it. And I'm telling you, it comes true like it's not magic, but it feels that way. Because that's the opposite of what we've been taught.
Mm-hmm.
Make that goal yours. Write it down. Take a
Write it
picture of it.
down.
You know that back in the day. Take a picture of it. You want to take a picture of it and you keep staring. Take a picture of it. Stare at your goal. Make it yours. And then you will find a way, or it'll find a way to simplify it for you to make that thing yours. Ever since I was a young man, I'm talking 4 years old, the first thing I did was start a business. I used to see my dad getting up in the morning and hitting the bricks, and I get up and I eat with him. My first business was it was a toy stand.
Mm-hmm.
The kids, you talk about being flat broke, like in cash. That's where we were. And the neighborhood that we stayed in, they were lower and had less than we did, right? So I took that as an opportunity to make some cash. But my thought before that was this will actually help them as much as me. because I was already letting them play with the toys. Some of them will walk
Mm-hmm.
off with, some of them wouldn't. So I got smart about it. Yeah, I want to help, and I want to be able to keep helping. And ever since, that has always been my mantra for business. I don't want to just get in business to make money. I want to get in business to actually help people. I
Right.
want to live life that actually helps people. That should be our ultimate goal, to be of service. The money is just a byproduct. It's just an offset of actually bringing some value to the table, of actually being of some use to help somebody. That's why it's so important to share your story. The
Right.
that you've been through are priceless, and you never know how it'll impact somebody else. But you got to know how to say it, when to say it. Somebody said it the other day. Guy that I grew up with said it the other day. He said, "I can take whatever you tell me as long as you know how to tell it to me."
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You have to stay away with yourself. You have to tell yourself, "This is mine. It's already mine." And I don't want to go. I don't want to go biblical and start talking about what the Bible says about that. But when you write it down, it becomes real. It becomes yours.
Write the
Write that
vision,
down.
make it plain. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm gonna get off. I'm gonna get out of the pulpit now. I was already up when you were talking with my handkerchief out of my pocket. I'm
All right, I'll be looking for your tithes and offering uh, later on. All right, thank you for sharing. Quite a few other folks have joined. Hey Val, Val gave birth to one of my wonderful son-in-laws, and him and my daughter have given me three beautiful granddaughters. So Val is family. I'm so glad to see you here. I think this is the first time you've been with us as well. Denise said, enjoy your life, be fun, have fun. I like it. Me too, Denise. That I simple, short, sweet, to the point. Great advice. Kelly says, I used to sing that song when I was in the rehab at the nurses station. They used to be cracking up at me. I used to be in my wheelchair rolling up at the nurses station. So your song resonated with her, Brian. And Denise said, make the goal yours. It'll find a way. Absolutely. Absolutely. Make it yours. Your gifts will make room for you. Your goals will become your achievements if you write that plan, create that plan, and start to take those actionable steps to bring it into fruition. I also saw Sonia Subug is in the house. So good to see you. I think this might be a first, also, maybe a second. Let's see. Tony, I don't think I've seen you here before, or maybe quite a while ago. So many new names and faces. It warms my heart. Um, Coco Brown Chanel says, hey there. And Kay Nicole Blossoms joined as well. So it is great to have you all with us. We are moving to the point where we want to get to those actionable steps, and then we will wrap this up so you all can get on with your Wednesday with intentionality. Denise says your gifts will make room for you. Amen. Amen indeed. All right. So how do we go about energizing our day with intentional goal setting? That was the topic for today's time. Start with that morning visualization. I can't stress for you guys enough how important having a morning routine is. If you just jump out of your bed and get yourself ready and run out the door just in time to get where it is that you need to go, if you can find it in yourself to back your schedule up 30 minutes, 15 minutes, it could be 10 minutes in the beginning and you build on it. You need to create a morning routine because that is going to prepare you and allow you to be intentional with the remainder of your day. Visualize what the end of your day is going to look like when you successfully accomplished whatever it is that you intend for that day. See yourself moving through your day happy, full of joy, successful, accomplishing things, right? See how you want your day to go. Visualize it. Y'all who have been with me know I start my day before I even open my eyes on most days. When I become conscious, I think about three things that I'm grateful for. That's how I end my day also, because it gets me in the right mindset. That's a part of my morning routine. I've made sure now that I keep my beautiful blinged out cup full of a nice cold water, and it's right there with me, so I'm hydrating first thing in the morning before I eat. If I give myself some good hydration, it just gets the mind moving in a more healthy direction, so I'm likely to make good decisions with my breakfast instead of grabbing some junk just to curb hunger and jump from meeting to meeting to meeting. It's all intentional. It's intentional. Getting everything set up in my office. Last night, I took quite a bit of time and reorganized some stuff and got all my different screens set up, even though I'm not using them right now. I wanted to get my office back to how I like it and what I see, because we've been traveling a lot and I've been moving this equipment all over the place. But I prepared for today intentionally, getting everything set up so I can sit down and just be ready to go. That morning routine is priceless. If you don't have one, you're robbing yourself of an opportunity to really get your day off to the right start. This is a part of quite a few of your morning routines. You're here with us every day. If I'm not going to be here, you guys leave me messages, hey, what's going on? I try to do replays now so that there's never a day where we're not doing this, because I know that there's people who have made this a part of how they get their day started. And that's priceless. So visualizing in your morning what it is that you want and getting that morning routine off. You'll thank me later. Just do it. All right. Task prioritization. There's a matrix called the Eisenhower matrix. And if you guys are interested in getting it, I've got a visual of it. I'll flash it up really quickly. If you DM me your email address, I can send it to you. But the Eisenhower matrix, it helps you to prioritize your task. There's two quadrants. There's important or not important, and there's urgent or not urgent. If it's important and it's urgent, that's the first quadrant. Those are the things that you should do first. There's a crisis going on. Maybe you have some deadlines that are coming. There's something critical that needs your attention. That's both urgent and important. So you do those things before you do anything else. Maybe they're important, but they're not urgent. Those are things that you absolutely need to get done, but you can calendar those. You can plan for those. That's your strategic planning, things like working on your relationships, personal growth and development activities, classes you want to take, skills you want to build, things that are important for you to be successful, but they're not urgent. They don't have to be taken care of right now, but you should plan for them and put them on the calendar. Those are the two quadrants that we should be working in all the time. The things that are important and urgent, the things that are important but not necessarily urgent, didn't have to be done right this moment. The third quadrant are things that are not important but they're urgent. Those are interruptions. Maybe there are emails and messages and things that are coming on, administrative tasks that you have to get done, things like me setting up my office last night. Those were things I could do to wrap up my day, but they weren't so important that it would have stopped things. So those tasks fall much lower, and when you can, you delegate those to someone else. I do delegate quite a bit in my professional life as well as in my business. There are certain tasks that I know that they will take a lot of my time, they need to get done, but they don't necessarily have to be done by me. So things like that, if you can delegate to someone else, wonderful, do it. And then the last quadrant, they're not important and they're not urgent. Busy work, time wasting activities, excessive social media, think those constant disruptions that we end up spending a lot of time on this stuff. It's not important. It's not urgent. So you should be asking yourself, why? Why am I even doing this? I need to move myself up to that quadrant one activities and make sure that those things get done, because there's a repercussion. If I don't get those things done, then there's some negative feedback that's coming my way. The things that are important but not urgent, there I need to get them done, but I can do those in a little bit more structured way. It's not like 911, I've got to get it done right now, right? So That's you think about the first quadrant as the emergency room. Something has gone on so significant that it has to be taken care of right now. Think of the second quadrant as scheduling an appointment with your doctor. I'm a little off. I need to get my checkup, or maybe it's time for my annual. So I need to schedule that. But I know it's not life threatening. I know I'm not seriously injured. I can give myself time, and I'll get that scheduled and plan it into my life. That's where we need to spend our time. Those other tasks, allow others to do them, or knock them off the list. That don't even give them any attention. So that is our task prioritization matrix. If you guys think that'll be helpful for you, just DM me your email address, and I'll get it over to you before the day is up. And of course, those of you that are in the collective, I'll upload that for you along with the actionable steps that we're going over right now. The mindful morning routine, I've talked about that already as a part of when I talked about the morning visualization, building that visualization into your morning routine, along with what other activities are going to help you be successful. Important. And then lastly, the daily review and preview. That's where you get a chance to assess how you're doing. I set some goals for myself this morning. I did my routine. I'm intentional about the things that I want to get done. How did I do? Right. And you can actually see, what adjustments do I need to make in my thinking or how I'm showing up for myself to make sure that I'm actually following through on the goals that I've set. Did something trip me up? What was that all about? Give yourself a chance to really assess and make the adjustments. And then you could also start previewing for the next day. I knocked these things off the list. This I said I was going to do, but I didn't get to. So it's at the top of my list tomorrow. So when you do your morning visualization the next day, and you can include that thing plus whatever it is you're going to add to the list. So your day review and preview for the next day. So we want to do our morning visualization, see ourselves being productive, successful, joyful. Prioritize your task. MIT is the most important things. It's another way of looking at that matrix that I just shared with you guys. If you have a to-do list, you have to prioritize that list to go, what are the most important things for me to get done? And make sure that those are the first things that you do. And then you work your way down your list. But prioritization helps you do the most impactful things first and build that momentum as you're working through the list. The mindful morning routine, we've talked about that. Is it meditation? Is it particular music that you listen to? What do you need? What do you need to do in the morning to get your day going? Your prayer time, your gratitude time, your meditation, whatever it is that works for you. Know yourself so well that you can build that routine and repeat it. That's you telling your brain through your activities that we're ready to go and win this day. We're ready to get things done. And then lastly, your daily review and preview. How did I do against the intentions I set for my day? And how do I need to get my day started tomorrow? So those are the 4 actionable steps that I wanted to share with you guys today. Like I said, for the collective, we'll get those uploaded for you. And if you guys are interested in that Eisenhower matrix, just DM me your email address and I will send that over. Let me see, quite a few. Let me see what comments have come in. Denise wrote out the actionable steps for us. Thank you, Denise. Hello, Barbara. Good to see you with us again. Kelly says, how can I inbox you? Because I was trying to find you yesterday because I wanted to send you something. If the easiest way, you can email me, Cassandra Terry, Cassandra Terry at manifestingmiraclemakers.com. You can DM me we're connected, Kelly, on Facebook. So you should be able to DM me there. Those would be the easiest ways that I could think of. If you go to the website, thevoicewithinwins.com, there should be a contact space there that you can send an email. So those are the first 3 places, that the easiest ways. Dr. Rose says, now, where were you 30 years ago? This matrix is a game changer, especially for us neurodivergent folks. Yes, it is very helpful, I think, if you're neurodivergent, because it helps you to focus and categorize things and make a plan for your day. So I hadn't thought about it that way, Dr. Rose, but I love that. Absolutely correct. And if you're interested in that matrix, just let me know. Conchita says implementation of these actionable steps makes for a more disciplined, balanced life, and receiving daily reminders are truly a lifesaver. Thank you. Those daily reminders are why we are here. Not only am I reminding you, but I'm reminding me. This is a part of my morning routine, and it helps me get my day off to a great start. So you guys are an absolute blessing to me. I think we've wrapped it up, guys. We have done what it is that we intended to do today. So if you are interested in getting your SOAR score, and I hope you are, it will help you. It will help you along the way to figure out just baseline right now where you are. Go to iwanttosoar.com, take the SOAR assessment. I'll get a notification when you complete it, and then we can plan our conversation. I'll be setting up meetings over the next couple days as those keep coming in, so that we can start to walk through and plan the next steps for you. It's great to talk about things in theory. It's great to have conversation, but there's nothing like personalizing it for you and your journey. And that's what we are here for. So just remember, the life that you want is out there for the taking. It's up to you. Go get it. Thank you guys for another great day. We will be back here tomorrow morning for Thankful Thursday, where we will talk about gratitude. I'm grateful for each and every one of you, and I'll see you back here tomorrow. Thanks, guys. Have a great Thursday. Great Wednesday.